Hello and welcome to Katharine's Creatures. This is a series we're going to talk a little bit about and touch base upon various mythological beasts, beings, and the like pulled from lore worldwide. And I always like to preface by saying that I'm not a linguist, so if I mispronounce anything, I do apologize in advance. And today I wanted to talk about this entity, referred in general as Sack Man, also known as the Bag Man. And this entity is similar to one of those boogeyman archetypes, and I've talked about this in the past, where the boogeyman concept is some kind of entity creature that's used by parents as a tool to kind of tell either kids to naughty kids not to misbehave, or try to give them warnings like don't go near the water or else this creature will come and snatch you. One of those kind of concepts to use this fear as a tool to keep their kids safe and well behaved. So, getting that out of the system. Okay, so the Sack Man, again, similar to a boogeyman style creature, he's often portrayed as a man that carries a sack or bag upon his back. He uses the bag to snatch up naughty children and cart them away for various purposes, depending on the region's version, because the Sack Man is actually something that is found globally, which I thought was very interesting since I actually had not been aware of this one until recently. And again, variations of this entity are found all over the world, particularly in the Americas. He comes by a whole bunch of names, again, depending on the local language, from, let's say, El Hombre de Costal, or El Hombre del Saco, Homem do Saco, that's Portuguese. So, I mean, again, we're going to go through some of these as I walk you through the various depictions of the Sack Man throughout the world. And you'll find him in Eastern Europe, also Haiti, certain areas or certain countries in Asia. Again, he is a worldwide concept. Now, in Spain, the Sack Man is depicted as usually ugly, this kind of decrepit, ugly, skinny old man, and it is thought in Spain that he actually captures the children in order to eat them. And again, particularly misbehaving children, so be warned. In Brazil, he's described as being tall and an imposing kind of male. Usually takes the form of a vagrant that wanders through town, and he actually captures the children in order to sell them later. So a little different. Sackman variations are found in Chile and Argentina, where he'll, in those cases, walk around the neighborhood pretty much every day around supper. And in those regions, he's thought of being this insane murderer who lurks in the neighborhoods, but it's become almost accepted presence because he's been around so much. And he takes children who are actually given to him by parents who are just tired of having misbehaving children. So a very different thing. He doesn't abduct them, he's given them. So he's just waiting around until he is gifted another naughty child. Or he will capture kids that are not back at their homes before sundown. So be home before it gets dark, is the moral of that story. Again, Sackman variations are found in places like Mexico, Honduras. He has the names of El Robo Chicos, so child snatcher. And again, goes back to this concept that he uses the sack to abduct these children. Going over to Europe, you'll find him in Georgia and Armenia, again capturing misbehaving children. Poland, he has names like Bibok, Babok, or Bobok, depending on the spelling. He's also found in the Czech Republic and Slovakia, where he's known as Bubak. But again, you can kind of see this rendition that he crops up all over the world. In the Czech Republic as well as Slovakia, he is known to be associated actually with dark places and scary places. So he's used more as a tool to make kids afraid. He's not really there to abduct them in those cases, but he is there to frighten children. That's just a new variation of him. But other countries that have their own versions are Russia, Ukraine, or among some of them. Even North India has their own version. The name is translated as Father Sack or Bori Baba, again, capturing children at his leisure. In Lebanon and Turkey, he captures to eat or sell the children. Again, you get this repetitive story, but it is interesting that even though there are subtle variations, a lot of them are very similar. When you jump all the way to Korea, he's described as having a mesh sack. There is also a female version in Korea as well. In Sri Lanka, he captures children, sometimes to keep them for himself. I don't know why, but there you go. And then in South Africa, again, this huge global belief system of this one entity type, there is both a male and a female version of the Sackman, though the male version is the most common one. So if you're interested in learning more, you can find stories and tales and variations of this concept throughout the globe, which I think is really neat. And I encourage you to look into it further if that is something of interest to you. Now, if you have any questions for me about this or anything else, post them in the comments below or reach out to me on any of my social media. And until next time, Skål.